welcome to Schizophrenic Synopsis. So this week, myself and Rob, we decided we wanted to look at some family dynamics of some rather interesting and groundbreaking families within the horror genre, within the early years of the horror cinema, of that really kind of like taking its new role of kind of being in the everyday. So what I mean is, instead of being like your scary monsters, so these are like your people, your everyday people. So Rob decided to tackle Jack Hill's Spider Baby, and I decided to go with Mr. Hooper's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is one I need to upgrade. This is a very bashed up, very old DVD, but it's what I'm rocking at the moment. So I want to try something a little bit different this week. I seem to talk quite a lot. My wife says this, my family says this, and my work colleagues say this. So I wanted to kind of try and trim it down a little bit. And I've just wrote a few bits and pieces, so I'm going to kind of basically blast that out and then finish up. So here it goes. I'm just going to literally, just upstairs I've been typing, now put it all together. So this is what I came up with. So Jim Van Bever is quoted as saying that this had a profound effect on him on the same level as Citizen Kane. So we are talking Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So this was a fascinating piece of cinema that, for a UK viewer such as myself, probably older than myself actually, was a holy grail that took many years to see, with censorship trying to kill this pleasure for our eyes, ears and soul. It's almost to the point where the name and that chainsaw, they are bigger than the general, they are bigger to the general horror viewing public than anything else. There's little to no comprehension of the family dynamic involved, the intricacies of our character traits, the warped hunger and censored normality through the eyes of a crazy. They see a chainsaw being held aloft. Indeed, people will think this is a veritable bloodfest, to which we all know this is not the case. This is about the implication of horrors, much less that the visual feast one might expect. Sorry, I didn't read that again. This is much about the implication of horrors, much less than the visual feast one might expect. This is late that I'm doing this, I do apologise. So we have similarities with Spider Baby, the Jack Hill picture from the previous decade, with a family of murderous crazies running amok. But there are also similar dynamics with The Last House on the left, following a gang of essentially psychopaths, where their view of normality is greatly skewed, something that had a huge bearing on horror cinema. These weren't aliens from another world. They weren't monsters coming up from the ocean from a long time gone. These were people you passed in the street, who sat next to you on the bus, who you obliged with a bum cigarette. These families also had a big common link, something that Hooper, Hill and Craven distilled into our hearts. They dehumanized violence. To these family members, what they were doing to these people was no different to stepping on an ant, or killing for their evening meal in one certain case. The film opens in a true story style, splicing documentary-styled voiceovers with flashes of visions of death. Pictures of a decomposed body are flashed up on our screen, disappearing as fast as they come to life, via a camera flash that is accompanied by one of the most chilling sound effects ever created for film. There's been grave robbing in Texas, and the local law enforcement are working from a tip-off, and this tip-off was correct. We then shift to our accomplices of the film, our characters who we will travel with, and we're already guessing how long will they be with us, each of these characters? We know they're not long for this world. So we have 5. We have, basically not going into too much detail, we have 3 guys and 2 gals. They're reading about the occurrences of a certain graveyard, one that I loosely mentioned above, and they want to go. So en route they pass an old slaughterhouse which is accompanied by a foul stench, and the one person I'll name drop, Franklin. He's a paraplegic, he's one of the guys, and he proceeds to delve into the slaughterhouse's methods of slaughter. Lovely. So already you're getting that feeling, that foreboding. You know there's going to be some link with this. It's greatly done. The compatriots stop along the road to pick up a hitchhiker. You know this isn't going to be good. This guy looks, acts, smells, he's just crazy. Now, this is either a fantastic piece of showmanship, or there are a few scary issues with our old friend Ed Neal. We never really know. We then get some knife fun that makes everyone in the van and in front of the screen squirm with this foreboding fear that this is never going to end well. And indeed it doesn't, and all but one end up dead by the hands of our famous protagonist, Leatherface. Whether it's sledgehammer, hook or chainsaw, all are gleefully thrashed out in the most dingy, sweaty, claustrophobically tension-filled acts ever seen on film at this point in time. But he's not alone, and there's the family. So to accompany Leatherface, our family killer, our slaughterhouse worker in the non-traditional sense, we have the cook, who I think is his father. I'm not 100% sure. It's a family member. I think it's the father. But he's also the one that earns the green for the family. We have our aforementioned Hitcher, who is his brother, and well, he's the scavenger. He's the one that's sent out looking for lunch and dinner, and most likely breakfast. And these are our carers, essentially, for our ancient and amazingly still alive grandpa, and then the not so alive, but still kind of well preserved grandma. And then the family house itself, which is a kind of beautifully decrepit character within itself, where fear lurks in the shadows and horror sits across you at the dinner table, which gets you wondering, what's for dinner? Well, the culmination of the film, of course, takes us to the dinner table and to what there is for dinner. We know what that is. I won't get into spoilers, into names, although I'm sure pretty much everyone has seen this film, especially if you're a horror fan. But we have a selection of rather delicious things, well, from rotting food, roadkill, and a centerpiece made out of human bones and dead chickens and things. And then we have everyone squabbling and fighting over who wants to be boss, who wants to be head of the table, sort of thing. And of course we do have our distressed main course, the psychological kind of torment that this character is going through is one of the things which kind of help get this band, apart from the original thing of people just jumping on the name. This became a later issue that people were like, this is heavy and we can't have this in film, but it's beautifully shot in his. And so our main course is actually being, I'd say, comforted, but not really comforted by the cook. He's like, no, stop playing with your food. Let's just get this done. Stop playing with the poor girl. And well, it rolls out to where it's deemed appropriate, kind of appropriate, and I kind of guess this is the equivalent of carving of the meat. But Grandpa is to bash the brains out of dinner, basically. And all mayhem ensues, and it goes a bit crazy. Dinner escapes, and things happen, and kind of don't want to give too much away. In a very minute case that you might not have seen this, but we end up with our famous pirouetting Leatherface, who's angrily revving his chainsaw. So that is my run through of this. I can see that I've clicked over to just 10 minutes now, so that didn't kind of work out as well as I expected. I was hoping for like 6-7 minutes, so I'm going to stop talking now. I hope you enjoyed this one. Rather a few less of the ums and ahs that I sometimes do, and I decided to put all the notes down. I hope it was okay that I was reading from it, but stuff that I just wanted to read rather than try and remember it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Please do check out Rob's video. I watched this just before I started working on this, and I think it's my favourite one that he's done so far. Brilliant, guys. Hopefully we'll catch you next week. Thank you. Bye bye.